Hear all videos here, to base be the glory.
Who that what? Who that? Who that what? Who that what? Who that what? Who that? Who that what? Who that what? 28 what? Who that? Hold that what? Who that what? Free back what? Who that?
Welcome back to episode 4 of Who Dat. I'm your host Tim A on the Solid Network Podcast Network. Here with a good friend of mine, ARCY, RAHMING Jr. I'm not going to say that throughout, I'll just say DJ throughout the whole show.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I brought Who Dat to a podcast because, as you know, I usually do music, arts, film, but it's so much more people of our age group and also doing things other than that.
Mm-hmm.
But still sticking true to the heart of Who Dat. Met DJ Creighton. He transitioned from St. Andrews to, SAC. Yes, SAC is a cult. Most of the people I know come from SAC. Just live with it, Andrew. Just live with it. And all I knew about this little white boy who knew judo. I didn't know nothing but them, but I always knew his father because I lived right behind where the karate place was. So I knew the name. I didn't know him. I knew the RC RAHMING. So I thought it's like, oh, it must be his son. So judo. I know loves basketball, but my second favorite sport is boxing. So talk to me about judo. Why? I mean, not because it's your father, but talk to me about that sport and your love for it.
So I love combat sports of all kinds. And the reason being is there's only really a few times that you kind of feel alive. And, we went to SAC, so every once in a while you get in a fight.
Of course. It's that.
And when you're in a fight, you're alive.
Yeah.
You're completely in that moment. Business is like that too for me. But there are really few places in modern society where you can, fight. And sport, you can. Boxing, judo, fencing. So I've always had a passion for that. I love to compete. I love to compete hard. And but I also, sport is good for following the rules because real fight, there are no rules, and that's stupid.
And just break down for our listeners the difference, because like I say, to me, I just thought it was karate. Talk to me about like the levels of this sport.
Oh, so I mean, martial arts comes from real war, right? But like I say, we're in a modern society. You can't, just go out there and punch somebody in the head. You go to prison. But if you sign up for boxing and you're an athlete, you can punch somebody in the head. Think about that, right? So of course there are rules there to make sure to protect people. But yeah, so I love to fight. What can I say?
And we like to give our flowers on the show to the Bahamian students. So I just want you to talk to us about, because people might not get it, the impact you and your family have had with judo and the Bahamians being able to go to Olympics and travel and make a living off of this sport.
So there's a this is an interesting segue, right? On the one hand, you teach people how to fight, and on the other hand, it makes them more peaceful. So like what ends up happening is after you've been in a couple of fights, you realize, wait a second, I don't want to do this for real. So you end up avoiding it as much as possible because the thing with a fight is you could lose. And it doesn't really dawn on most people when their passions are high. But when you've been in it and you've been in those high passions, you understand, this is for real. It's not worth it. We don't need to do that. So we've used judo. My family has used judo to go into some of the inner cities and to help people. It is an Olympic sport, so there's all those Olympic opportunities available. But the reason we use it is because it's something that people can relate to at a very primal kind of level. But as you go through it, you become peaceful. It's a very strange
juxtaposition.
Yeah. So you'll often see martial artists have a lot of self-control. It's because you have to get good at it. And so we use it as a tool to meet people in that space. Often you'll hear that the language of the street is violence. So it's a common language that people can relate to, and what ends up happening is they learn more about themselves. They learn more. They gain confidence, because a lot of fights, when you really look at, remember in high school, if you stepped on someone's shoe.
Well, that's a fight. Even in the club, if you can scuff someone's Jordans, that's a fight.
Yeah, that was a fight, right? But really, what's the reason for it? I guess it's because people don't feel confident about
Yeah.
themselves.
Or
Or like,
they think it's disrespect. You disrespected my shoes.
yeah,
And,
but
it was
how about it's
accident,
an
man.
accident? Yeah.
I didn't come in here and say, "Wait, I'll be right there. I'm gonna step on the shoe."
No, I mean,
I don't like how he looks. I'm
gonna-
gonna step on the shoe. Like, that's not what happens. But I guess in that moment, you know, just
yeah, in that moment, you know, because yeah, they're expensive, da 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 da, but you know, as you get older, you realize how dumb that
Yeah,
stuff.
I was, yeah.
That this dumb, right? It's just a shoe. I'll get another shoe.
Mm-hmm.
I've had many pairs of shoes, and I'm gonna have many
I'm gonna
more
have many
pairs.
more afterwards.
You know, so I mean, so it's martial arts puts you in that space with those emotions, and then you learn how to kind of control them.
Right.
And so, we think that is a valuable skill for people to have because you are going to be stressed out in life. The job is going to stress you out.
Your money stress you or your mind, you know.
Yeah, your significant other is going to stress you out. COVID's going to stress you out, and you kind of have to You should practice being stressed out when you're a kid, because when you're adult, life is going to stress you out. So it's kind of a really good soft skill for people. And then, as you were saying, we use that to go into the communities and help people with that. So even if you don't become an Olympic champion, you can deal with the stresses of life, because there's very few things that are as stressful as a fight.
So I usually bring up soccer as much because Andrew made soccer such a thing this week. I'm gonna keep bringing up soccer throughout this whole podcast. So like I say, I met him, and then my judo and in soccer, grade 10 to 12, you have people through your classes. You have 10 classes, and me and him was in 6 of our 10. So I spent a lot of time with this guy, and so I figured out he also smart. So I always knew he'd be a brain somewhere. So
Don't admit to stuff that you don't want the whole world to know. That's what I'm gonna say.
So talk to me about how, so like I said, and then you always the techie guy.
Yeah.
And we'll get to the lead eventually. You can see the ball on the screen what we really hear about. But so computer CAS. I tried to take CAS in college my first 3 years. I failed horribly. Transferred to journalism. I found my passion. So talk to me about why you decided to let me get into technology. I mean, that's what that was 13 years ago. We got in high school. But like, talk to me about. It's clearly relevant now, like all the stuff you learn tech wise. Like, talk to me about that path of, okay, let me go do this full time. Like, what made you think, okay, I could do this full time, and what was your goal with it?
So I've always been an engineer type person. I like to build things. Sometimes I'll just build something out of like a table or whatever, just because I like to build things. And so naturally that you start looking at the things that you could build. And in university, I was always good with computers, but then I decided to study that kind of engineering, electrical engineering, control systems, which are kind of some of the higher level programming of how these things work. And fortunately, I have a mind for it. I have the temperament for it, meaning if you know any engineers, they're in school for a long time. Yeah, so I went through that. And now I building of other things. We're building this wonderful company, Arawak. We're building, there's a lot of technology that goes in the background, so I get to use my degree in that way. But
and what's the actual degree? What's the name of it?
It's called control engineering.
Okay.
So what's the best way to describe it? So a computer, so you could think of electrical, so you think of a robot, right? So a robot has a bunch of moving parts. That's mechanical.
Right.
You have the material it's made out of. That's material science. And then you have the electrical wiring. That's electrical engineering. Then you have the computer chip itself. That's computer science. If it's connected to a network, that's IT. And then finally, control engineering is how do you tell all of those systems
what to do,
how to do to get what you're doing.
Okay.
So it's multidisciplinary, which was good. I didn't know at the time, but what it did was for me in my business life is it taught me how to work and communicate with some people that normally would just be talking in ones and zeros. So, nerds are not very good communicators normally. So I use those skills to to help create the company.
So usually people with this level of, like they this techie, they go on to be CTOs of like NASA and thing. And what birth your business side? Want to be a business, like where did that come in?
So the truth is, I probably wasn't coming home. I wasn't going to come home if it wasn't for the financial crisis.
Right.
Because we graduated in '08 and we went off to school. Life was happy-go-lucky, perfect,
12 months later.
12 months later, it was in the dumps. And my family business that my parents had been running started to collapse. I graduated in 2012, and by January of 2013, I was back home working in the family business. So it's...
This is the management company?
No, both, everything.
Okay.
The whole society kind of went. So if you know anyone, we're in a family friend group, and almost you know something's wrong when you have like 8 really intelligent business owners and all of their businesses are collapsing. So it was the society had that big squeeze put on it, and so and my sisters were still in school, so couldn't just leave them
Stranded, yeah.
leave them all stranded. So it was just kind of that's why I came back. But I'm glad it did. I mean, everything works out for a reason.
So you mentioned 2012, and that's a very important year for us with this business. So the Bahamas, was it the Bahamas who passed the law in 2012? There was a patent law towards crowdfunding that was passed in 2012.
No, it wasn't the Bahamas. It was
it?
it was the Jobs Act in the United States.
Okay.
So that got passed at the same time, and that came about because before the financial crisis, the only way to do finance was you kind of had to go to London or to New York or to San Francisco and bend the knee to the finance gods with a small G.
I really like the nerdism's going on. Like this is great.
No, I mean, because that was the only way you could get money. If you needed money of a certain size, that was the only places. And then with the financial crisis happened in the States, they realized this is so inefficient. We can't grow our economy to do that. So they wrote all these rules about how you can raise money on the internet, and now it's all kind of come to here. We've adopted them. We're the first company to be doing this, and so it's kind of how we got into it was that in 2017, me and Dad went to the Securities Commission of the Bahamas, put on a seminar, crowdfunding, to judge, see how many people were interested in doing it. Room was full. Might have been 300 people.
What about that calling made you guys go? Like, what about, like, was it something you were interested before that seminar? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I joined my father in his management consulting practice. And what that is so when you run a company, you don't know everything.
Of course.
Nobody does.
No one knows that.
So what you do is sometimes you hire consultants. And what a consultant does is he kind of tells you how to use or run your company a little bit better. Sometimes it's better to have someone from the outside look in, give you an honest opinion. Because, like I say, you don't know everything. And oftentimes when you're...
They can see the gaps.
Exactly. Whereas you're so used to seeing the hole in the floor over there.
Used to that. That's a probably, hey, that's not supposed to be there.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's what consultants are good for. So that was what my father's practice was, and this is on the business side. So our public practice was always judo. That's the nonprofit side, and then the profit side is the management consulting. But in 2017, we went to this seminar full. At least 300 people were in that room, and this was an opportunity for us to fuse our love of business, finance. My old man was a finance guy, technology, and helping people. Because when businesses are funded, they hire people, then they go and those people then live good lives.
Quality of life
goes up, and the society is nicer. We finally have some money to pay in taxes, and then government salaries go up, and then our teachers get paid what they're supposed to be paid, our police officers get paid what they're supposed to be paid, and everybody's life is better. So we need businesses to work.
Right.
That's just how capitalism works. You need businesses to thrive. And so we saw that there was a need there. There was a big need there. And then we decided to do it, and it was kind of, it's all kind of worked out. 4 years later, a ton of red tape. Oh my gosh, so much so that I had to actually start law school just to understand all of the laws and rules and stuff like that. We're here.
My next question, because you're going from the judo to the technology, now you're doing law. Like, so what do you see your end goal with the law path?
Well, I'm not going to practice.
Yeah.
But it's a useful degree to have when you're in the regulated spaces. So regulation means rules that are written by government, and really, if we want all of our industries to get better, we need people who can write these rules, lawyers that understand what they're writing. It's like, for example, like we don't have very strong intellectual property law here.
Right.
Not because they're not trying, and not because but you need practitioners that are also lawyers that can put it into the legal language so that you can, because these are not just words on a piece of paper. We live this every day.
There's power in these words.
Yeah. So we need people that can do that. And so, being in financial technology, I'm uniquely positioned to kind of work with the regulators as it improves, because no law is perfect.
Yeah.
No law is perfect. We follow them to the best of the ability. And then when we run into a rule that doesn't make any sense, the process is you're supposed to say, hey, this doesn't make any sense. You get it changed. And then it makes a little bit more sense. And then it iterates over and over and over and over again. So for people that are thinking of a second degree, like I had to, consider law, because it adds to your life experience.
So now people listening for the meet, and we almost at the meet. I have one more piece of potatoes to ask. So what drew me to the company, I like, and I think people need to hear about, like, your dad. He was the first, I think, COO or operating of BISX.
Yes, he was.
So
he actually he's a technologist as well, financial technologist. So he actually, so in Chicago, if you know anything about the Chicago markets, that's the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, a big stock exchange in Chicago. He was part of the team that put the computers in that, digitized that in the 90s.
Right.
And then in the early 2000s, he set up BISX. They're actually still using a lot of the same systems that he put in there. And now we're doing it again in a modern, more efficient way.
So just to really set the table for you guys, his father, the CEO of ROX, he helped to create some stuff that's going on in the Chicago Stock Exchange and the Bahamian Stock Exchange, and now us, ROX, the Securities Exchange, that's the same guy running it. So we have some people that know what they're doing. So like I said, the reason we're here, ROX crowdfunding. So let's break down the term. Because people think of Kickstarter, GoFundMe.
And these are good ideas, because crowdfunding is just a mechanism. And what I mean by mechanism as it's just a way of getting in front of people. Now, so Kickstarter, you put a product up there and you get in front of your customers through the internet, and then they could buy the product in advance. They kind of give you the money because they like the idea. The problem with Kickstarter that they found is there was this company called Oculus Rift. And
oh boy.
Yeah. And they were doing these virtual reality glasses, really cool glasses. People said, wow, that looks like a great idea. They funded the business. They got the money. They made the goggles. They improved their product. And then another little company, very tiny company called Facebook.
Little blue dot,
Yeah. The little tiny company called Facebook came along and bought them for $1 billion. And the people looked around and said, damn, I wish I could own some shares in that.
Because no, all I have is goggles now.
Yeah, I only got some $200 goggles, and these guys are now billionaires.
We helped probably
that's right. We helped to create this thing. We gave it the momentum, And so crowdfunding, what it does is it allows you equity crowdfunding, AROAC. What it allows you to do is own pieces of the company. And that's why all of the rules, because there's a big difference between buying a product and buying a share in a company. A lot more rules, a lot more protections that are needed to be put in place.
And
So-
sadly, with done enough scamming and stuff, it's very difficult for people to ascertain what's real, what's not. And like we said, the biggest thing is we regulated. We have the license. So talk to us about what having that license means for us versus someone who's trying to do a loan or forex trading or these type of things that promise you that you'll get this X amount of money in that much time. And
So whenever you're dealing with any type of financial services, whenever money moves, that needs to be in a regulated space, which means that the company you're dealing with needs to be able to provide proof that they have that license. And so you should ask. That's ask to see it. That's okay. You technically you can go into a bank and ask to see their license, and they should be able to produce.
we
it
just
for you.
don't, because these been so long. We just know that these banks are
Well,
legit.
yeah, I mean, some institutions have been there so long, we just assume.
We just expect it.
But if someone's coming to you with a new thing, especially now, because there's going to be a lot more financial institutions coming about, you need to ask them to see the license, and that's okay. Like, this is the internet, and it's the internet. And I can't say, the internet is a crazy place. It's
Yeah.
like the wild, wild west of information. So you need to ask to see those things. Go through. Like I said, it took us 4 years to get that license, to go through the process of getting it.
And that's so crazy because my child is 4, so I can't imagine the length of her life it took you to get this one license. Like that's
it's
the amount of time.
Yeah, it was a lot of time. A lot of time. I mean, I'm getting triggered.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, tons of meetings, tons of stuff, because it is financial services. There are scammy people out there,
Yeah.
so they have to shake the tree. Fortunately,
They had to make sure you guys survive the test of time. Like you ain't just doing this for a buck.
No. Fortunately, our team is filled with people that used to be regulators as well. So, like the chairman, my dad, spent 8 years on the disciplinary committee of the Securities Commission, and what that is he was the one where if someone did anything wrong in the jurisdiction, a file would come to him, and then he would recommend them for prosecution.
Right.
So, we know what we're doing from a lot of different parts of the financial system.
In my opinion, the only reason why I was able to last 4 years is because of the deeper meaning of why you did ROAC. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's so business. People so if you can get, so there are two thoughts for what business people are, right? So the first is that this guy is a crook and he's just trying to get money out of my hand. And you have those people. Don't get me wrong. There are those people.
Yeah.
That's one side. That's the bad side of business. But think about the good side of business. The good side of business is the company that has recognized, that you have a problem in your life, and you and works to meet that problem, works to meet that need. So think like a doctor, for example. You're sick. A doctor makes you well. And so, of course, that's considerable value. So you reach in your pocket, you take out money for that value. That's all business is. And it's that exchange of value. You should have something that is worth more to the guy than the money in his pocket. Okay, so now, what does that do for society? When business thrives, society thrives. And so it's because we've been around markets, we understand that it's not just about money. Money is good, money is nice, it's important, but that flow needs to happen through society. Otherwise, just like when a river stops moving or is redirected, the things around it die. You can't, we have to, if we want to have a beautiful country to live in, we have to have, working financial system.
Right.
And that's work for all of us. That means that you can't have unnecessary barriers. You can't have just really dumb rules. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to work. Otherwise all of us suffer. And you know, and you got those people that think that they can like hide behind a wall and hire a guard with an armed guard. But I mean, do we really want to live in a society like that?
No, you don't.
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally would love to be able to, you know, go over the hill in the middle of the night and not have to worry about, you know, anything happening.
Yeah.
Like in some countries, you can go into bad neighborhoods and well, because the first thing with a bad neighborhood is the food is amazing.
Right. Oh man, fire.
Yeah, you know. So I mean, like, I would love to be able to do that at 3 o'clock in the
Go
morning.
walking paint off or some,
You know,
some jerk.
So exactly.
Yeah.
And you have countries where they've managed to do it. Like in Japan, it's so safe. If you accidentally pass out and get drunk, or you pass out on the side of the road, somebody will take you to place or wake you up, and you know they literally have warehouses full of lost wallets with money in it.
Wow.
Okay, because people have enough.
Yeah.
I personally think that the reason we have a lot of these problems, and we have a lot of problems. I'm not saying that Bahamas is not perfect.
Yeah. No, it is.
No, nowhere is, but we can work on them once people start to have enough. Yeah, because I mean, and especially when that value to money relationship is real. So right now, a lot of people are working in jobs underpaid for what the value that they're giving, and you can't, you know, when that equation, that very very complicated equation starts to make sense, then you'll see the society grow and improve. And you know, my family has been in the RAHMINGs of Fox Hill have been there since 1832. So a little while, yeah. So we would love for our country and our, you know, our island, we're Nasuvians, to prosper and for people to prosper. Because, you know, I personally would love to see what it was before 2008 financial crisis again.
Right.
I see all these people driving all these breakdown car and stuff like that, and it makes me sad because before in high school, during that boom time from 2000 maybe 3 to 2007,
Hey,
everybody was
things good. Like my father,
Yeah.
was a mechanic. He works himself, and I remember like we used to go away like 4 times a year. But
I mean, it
he
was
used to
like,
fix like 7 cars a day. Like it was really good. And luckily I graduated before, so even though when things fell hard, he only had my daughter left in school, so it wasn't trying to put the 2 of us through school. So like I could definitely see the difference between then and now.
and we need to return to that.
Yeah.
You know, but it's going to be work. I'm not saying that it's just a flip of the switch and that happens, but we have to make sure that the systems that we use are, you know, work for the majority of people.
Right.
And right now they're not.
Right.
And so that's what our WACX is trying to solve some of this.
So, in company, is it where I could come right now with Who Dat and come to RAHMING for funding, or is it more bigger scale business? Talk to me about the type of businesses, the type of companies that would list on RAHMING, and how do you ascertain, okay, like, because you can't tell the future, but how can you say that, you know, okay, this company is worth us putting on the platform and raising money and trusting it. We trust it enough that we bring it to the Bahamian people, because I think that's going to be a big thing of why should I trust you and this company to give my money to you guys?
Very good questions. So, Who Dat, if it has a scalable business model, okay? And what do I mean by scalable? Which means that has the ability to grow its revenues. So companies come to us when they're trying to grow and expand.
Okay.
And grow and expand not by like double, but I mean like times by 10.
So you look at numbers like
Numbers, yeah. Because then at that point, when the guy says, you know, I'm doing this and I want to grow this by 10 times, you look at him and you say, most people look at him and say he's crazy, but finance people look at him and say, all right,
prove it.
How are you going to do this? And you start asking them questions. The first set of questions we like to, if you've seen me anywhere else, it's that team with magic. The team is their acronyms. Team stands for the executive, advisors and management. The people. So you got this crazy idea. So I start looking at the people first, and I say, okay, you got some media experience. Who's done any international media business? You say your Who Dat is trying to expand into into Jamaica and Trinidad. Who on the team has the experience in those markets? So you got a couple of advisors there. Okay, and then you start to say, can these people actually do this? Because business is about people. You know, that's what it is, right? Even
Relationships between people, yeah.
that's what it is. So can these people actually do that? And if the answer is yes, you're starting down the right path. Now it's just about the structure.
Yeah.
Is this properly structured? And that's where the magic comes in. M stands for market. For non-business folk, market means just a number of customers. So if you say like, okay, right now, Who Dat is making, for every viewer that's watching this, we're making $1 from our ad revenue. Okay, so you got that customer to revenue is lined up. So now we have right now 5,000 people watching. We want to have 500,000 people watching. Okay, so then you go from making $5,000 to $500,000, right? Well, you're going to need money to go after these people, right? You're going to need money to market into them. And so that's kind of what the market is about. Access. That's what A stands for. So M is market, A is access. If you can get in front of these people, then you could do it. And that's the beautiful thing about like these digital platforms.
Right.
Is no matter where you are in the world, you can get in front of somebody on their phone because just like a DM, you could DM a superstar
easily. Yeah.
Now, will they open it?
No, but you have access at least.
But you have access. Yeah. That's the thing. So that's the A. G stands for growth of that 10 times, and then I stands for innovation. Got to be doing something new, or innovative. Innovative meaning a lot of different things, and then the C is that corporate governance, which is legal and accounting stuff that makes sure that when you put money in, you can take money out. So
this will drop on Wednesday, but we are launching tomorrow. So just talk to people about the process of them signing on, how they invest in share, how they buy shares, what they can expect when they buy the shares. Stuff
go right on your phone. Go to arrowx.com. There's a pretty simple. Well, we're trying to make it as simple as possible process. You're going to need your passport, your driver's license, NIB card, and a proof of address.
So we're in silly season. So a voter's card does count as a...
It does.
So
it does.
if you have a voter's card where you live right now,
that counts as proof of address.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to... We're in silly season.
Yes, we
are.
It is. Silly season. I drove here and I saw, and we're on Carmichael, so I saw... red, yellow, green. Red, yellow, green. Like there's one every miles, like one green flag. It's ridiculous.
Well, let me just say that one of the pleasures of being Bahamian is how peaceful our process is,
right?
And how the fact is that we are allowed to express our views. I mean, I remember. During this administration and the last administration, being at town halls and people getting up and speaking really harshly to the prime minister, both prime ministers, and them standing there and listening. This is a beautiful thing. We have a beautiful country. We have all of the things that we need to make it better, but now we just need some money.
Yeah,
money. You need some money to really make this place nice. So it's that's kind of what we're doing.
So we're launching an international food company, a tourist tech company. We can't say before tomorrow, but it'll be in the caption when this drops on Wednesday.
Yeah,
so
you'll be able to caption. You'll be able to see it.
So just talk to us about so let's just say buying shares and Who Dat. Let's just say Who Dat going live. I buy shares as low as $25. And I want you to talk about that because that's a big thing. I buy it. Okay, it's a successful raise. How now do I get my return on that money?
So, like with all companies, you get returns in a few different ways. So the first way is you buy it at, say, $10 each share, and then when the value goes up, you sell it at 20. Right. So you made a profit there. Right. That's one way. The next way is you can hold on to them, and then when the company issues what's called a dividend, and all a dividend is when they divide up the profits, they divide them up by the number of shares, and then you get dividends. So that's the second way. And then the last way is if the company is bought by a bigger company, it's a forced sale. And oftentimes when that happens, they have to pay a premium
Right.
on the share value. So
So in most options, you're getting, if you're getting your money's being multiplied. So in L3, you're getting more than you put in most likely.
well, I mean, it's a investment,
Right.
which means there's the risk that the company could do well. There's also the risk that the company could not do well. So with all investments, you could lose all of your money.
Right.
That being said, you can't grow your money if you don't invest.
Right.
So
it's a risk. It's an inherent risk in all investments.
yeah. So that's why it's so important. I think personally, the pros that are investing, they believe in the team so much that one of the reasons why like only white men from Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Northwestern that were getting funded was because people believe in the team to the point where they say those guys are winners. And so really take a look at the team. I said all that to say the team is everything, because a good team with a bad company can still grow, whereas a bad team with a good company can't do nothing.
Right.
So you really got to take a look at who are the people that are running this thing, especially at the high level, because leadership, whichever direction the leadership of a company goes in, is the direction that the rest of the company goes in.
And how in depth will we be providing this information to the general public of the team beyond these companies?
Yeah, so you'll be able to, see who they are. You'll be able to see some bio of what they are. Please do some research. Google them. Like I say, if the guy is if they're doing if it was Who Dat was there, and you guys are a media company, and nobody there has any media experience, I mean, it would have been like
telltale sign. Yeah.
yeah. Start asking questions, But when you start to see, I would imagine the questions that I would have wouldn't be on your media competence.
Right.
I would be asking who's doing your books, who's who's doing some of your international marketing or whatever. Those would be kind of the more of the questions that I would ask, because everybody's good at something.
Right.
But you got to make sure that you have others in the positions that you're not necessarily good at. And so that's what business is about. It's about teamwork.
So before you get there, I want you to really explain to people legally why we can't give advice on which company to invest in versus each one, but we could just educate you on what you should look for, like you've been doing.
So advice means, from a legal definition, it means if I were you, I would do this. So, for example, the classic one is right now, Timothy, you have wife, young child. You should put so much money in company A because I think it matches with where you are right now in your life, and the expected return on this is going to be X, Y, and Z, and I think that's a good pick for you. That would be advice. Whereas Arawak doesn't do that. Arawak can't. That's not our license. Our license is to bring companies and individuals with money together, which is a different function in the market. So there will always be people that are giving advice, and there always should be, because some people want to not think about their investing.
Tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. Yeah. So we are just a marketplace. The food store, I tell you, we have apples, bananas, oranges, and our job is to tell you it's there. You could hide an advisor to tell you that the apple tastes better than the orange, but banana is still superior, stuff like that.
Yeah, or like so to use the supermarket example, you got to kind of know that you're going in to bake an apple pie, what the ingredients are to go buy it, whereas an advisor would be saying, hey, I think you could do this, and this, and that's to bake the apple pie. Maybe you could put some cinnamon here and that. That would be an advisor. A fund manager would be kind of like the chef. You just say, I want apple pie, and then I don't care what the ingredients are. And then he goes and he does.
That's a really good.
So it's
because my previous job was a fund management. That's an excellent comparison. Yeah,
so that would be how you kind of think about it, because it's but we're the supermarket. So do I expect that a whole finance community is going to evolve around us? Yes, and we work with partners in the community because we're specialists. We understand markets, we understand the technology that's necessary. We understand how to get information out to people in a timely manner. The reason that we can't say who the companies are is because if one group of people has information before another group of people has information, they can use that information to make a profit
manipulate the markets,
or to manipulate markets. And so there's a lot of rules around that. So we understand that process, and that's how we're going to try and make a difference.
So the companies Arawaka X are listing, we're looking for them to grow 10 times over. What do you expect to see Arawaka X in 5-10 years? What's the end goal? Starting here, just as a security exchange in the Bahamas, where else can you see us?
I would like to be Caribbean wide. You know, I'm good at my job, so you know I wanna see how far I could take this thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really exciting. We have a really amazing team. Thank you for coming on the team.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
And the team is it's everything. So you know, as we grow, everybody's young and hungry, and you know, who knows where we're gonna take this, but you know, it's we understand there's a big hole here in the market. We understand that there's a lot of people that need access to financial services. Through technology, we've been able to bring the barrier down to $25. Nice. We're very, very proud of that. And so it's all about just making sure that people understand what this is. This is not, while this is not a game, this is people's money that they work really freaking hard for. And so it has to be protected. But you have to take some risk. There's no profit without risk. And, you know, so it's important to understand that. But it doesn't mean that, you know, you go crazy buck wild. But, you know, that's so we're existing in this space where a company is looking to grow. And so the potential upsides are high, but you also still need that structure, that magic, to make sure that you're not just shooting blind. Or you got the cousin with the good idea and no business plan, you know. So, I mean, some people still invest in that, but you got to be crazy after the first time, you know.
And I can't let you get we're talking about your podcast and the economy. Just talk to me about why you chose that name and the future of the pod.
So, you know, the new economy, this is what it's about. You know, COVID has happened. We're in the post financial crisis, post Donald Trump, post everything, right? A lot of stuff has happened. The economy has to be different. It just has to, otherwise it's not going to survive. We're still as a population doubling every 20 years, 25 years or something like that. You know, hey, I mean, you can't do the same stuff 20 years ago and expect that still to work. It's just not going to work. And really what it is the new economy is about business and how business people really add value. And understanding that relationship and not being afraid of having these conversations, because I was fortunate enough to grow up in a very business savvy house. So my grandmother ran one of the largest hotels here in the Bahamas.
Oh, nice.
My father and mother met at business school. My aunt went to a good business school. On my mom's side, all of her people are business professionals. So I grew up in that. So sitting on the couch, you get to hear these stories. You get to hear business people talking about this stuff. Most people don't have that experience.
Right.
I'm under no illusions of that. And so the new economy is just kind of bringing people into that space where how business people talk to each other. And because none of this is natural. You're not going to learn. You
aren't born with this.
No. You don't just suddenly wake up and say, I'm going to be a great business person. It's a process. And the process is listening to people and their stories. Sometimes the stories are like, you know, don't spend that money over there because this guy's going to cheat you. Or don't go over there because you're going to get, you know, you're going to step on a landmine. So those are important stories too. But it's business is just a giant trial and error. And so you kind of listen to people's pain.
Learn from other people's mistakes.
Yes, exactly. Because and then the faster you can do that, the
accelerates your
exactly. Growth. So that's kind of what it is. And so the new economy is just about having those kind of conversations that you just would never have because you have to know people. Before modern media, you couldn't share this. The only way you would get this is if you sat down with the execs and had a drink or a beer.
Right.
But how often are you going to do that? They're working,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So that's so it's very one-on-one, very personal, and we have to. The new economy is about sharing that. So, I would like to see the Bahamas become like, one of the great places to do business in the world. So
we have everything else. So
why not? Why not? I mean, you could see it when you drive the western side of the island. They're doing business.
Yeah.
They're having a good time. They're living.
They live.
They live a good life.
I like to say they live in New Providence. They live. They live. I always joke with my wife, like, past Bahama up, that's New Providence.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to just be for them.
Yeah,
it can be for us. But you have to learn how it's done. It's not. Ain't nobody gonna just give you nothing.
Right.
You have to learn how money works from an investing side, from a business side. You have to be comfortable with having those conversations, and you have to be, how do I say, vulnerable with the idea that you don't know everything and that you can learn from people in different areas of the business, and that you're not going to know everything, and you're not going to be the smartest person in the room all the time. And so that's what you got to kind of do.
Right.
And but it's a process. So
Thank you so much, RC. Friend of mine, now my boss. RWAC, we launched .com, everything you need to know right there. Social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. I might probably make a TikTok soon.
trying to get him.
Yeah, because I talked to Top last week, and she's told me about so much things on TikTok. That's a whole new world over there. They're super viral over there. But the point of all of this is to get this information out there. Let Bahamians be able to own companies, and these are not little; these are big companies.
These are companies.
These
are about to be the big deal of the new economy.
So we and I shout out DJ and his father for, because like I said, they're smart enough where they could have just did something else and make money and take care of their family, but they went through the trouble and the struggle of trying to do something where the country itself can benefit. And who that is about, Bahamians and benefiting Bahamians. That's all I care about. That's why my logo is a Bahamian flag. Like, I care so much about my country. So thank you again. It's been episode 4 of Who Dat. You can follow the RC. It's his name. Just search his name and follow RX.
There's an apostrophe there, though.
Yeah. Shout out to OBS. We couldn't find an apostrophe, but yeah. Who Dat episode 4.
I blame the man behind the camera.
See you next week. Thank
All right.
you.
Who that what? Who that? Who that what? Who that wait? Who that what? Who that? Who that wait? Who that wait? 28